Okay, so I was requested to make a small point, a really small, or the smallest I can possibly make. Well, I've made them very, very small. The possibilities are just limited by the size of your tools. So I'm not going to make the smallest possible, but I'm going to try to make it, uh, smaller than the dime. I'm not sure exactly how small, but and they didn't want me to just nap around the edges, so I chose kind of a chunky little flake. Looks like it broke off of something I was attempting to make. I'll leave the dime right there so I can refer to it. Okay, right there. So this is a little piece of Georgia chert heat treat. Now, is that cheating to use a little piece of heat treat? I don't know. It might actually be easier to use a high quality raw chert, because this can snap in half while I'm trying to thin it down, unless you don't want to see a thin small point. All right, do you want to see a thin small one, or just a regular small one? Regular? Okay. As thin as possible and as small as possible. That's probably what he meant. Yeah, this is a little inconsistent piece of heat treat Georgia chert. It's a piece of swirl chert. It's got some concrete or some nasty areas right there. The hardest part about these is just getting a hold of it. So after many years, my fingertips have hardened up a little bit. Not much, because they're still really squishy. See that? I got really squishy fingertips. So it is hard for me to hold on to, even these days, after many, many years of Flintknapping. But I'm going to do it. Have I made small points before on purpose and not because of requests? Oh yeah. I even wanted to start a video series on miniatures. Making little miniatures. But I don't have time for that. I barely have enough time to explore other things like making arrows and stuff. I still got to get back to that. I got to get back to the making of arrows and the bows. I got this stuff sitting there. I just keep getting sidetracked by knappings. I got to do lots of knappings. Projects that involve only flint knapping. Yeah. I got a couple projects that involve sinew. So I gotta do those. Am I gonna get all this stuff on video? Probably not, because it takes me twice as long to do something on video than it does normally. Yeah. It's okay for videos, but lengthens the video and you can sit there and enjoy the ambiance of having a long video. But for me, it makes me less productive. Yeah. The videos don't pay all that much. Believe it or not. Even with thousands and thousands of views, they don't pay all that much. Not as much as making stuff and selling direct to customers, or doing an auction like I'm doing. But I like doing videos more than the other stuff. Yeah. I found that I like doing the videos as long as I don't have to edit and do a lot of editing on the videos. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind editing per se, as they say, but it just takes forever. That's the part I mind. It just takes forever. Because, I edit a video like I nap. I just keep napping and napping. And I don't get there. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? No, not yet. You've been editing that video for a long time. Are we there yet? No, I'm not there yet. There's still a little bit I could do. And there's still a little mistake I can do over. Make a little... If I edit videos and do little segments, I know there's going to be some segments that I want to do over. So I don't edit them. I'd be sitting there in the editing room all day, just editing certain things that I think should be better. And just keep messing with it. So I don't want to do it. So how do I get rid of a turtleback on something that small? I don't know. It's a good question. I wish there was some way you could just put a tool on the end and then hit the tool to get the flake off. Ah, but there is. Yes, there is. Coming right up. So yeah, it's just a matter of scale. You just gotta make the tool smaller. It's the same techniques. And back in the day, if you wanted to make a little teeny point, you use little teeny tools. Alright, so what are the reasons to make little bitty points? Well, first and foremost, little bitty points do and were... They do work for arrows, and they were used for arrows. Down to the smallest artifacts. Now, some of those smallest artifacts may not have been on arrows, even though they could have been. It still works. All you need is a point made of stone. You don't need it to be wide. As long as what you need is just to pierce or puncture, then you just need a little bitty stone on the tip. But there are other uses for miniature points, like they can be used as charms within a medicine bag, for example. You know what a medicine bag is? It's just a bag full of charms or good luck charms, little items that bring you good luck, or so you think. You can put a little bitty arrowhead in there as a charm. You can also use it as jewelry, like an earring. You can inlay it into something else. You can make another object and then put a piece of glue on that object and then set the arrowhead into the glue and decorate another object with that little arrowhead. Small arrowheads could also be made by children. They just use the chips that Dad's discarding. All these little chips can be chipped into little bitty arrowheads. Yeah. So maybe a child made some of those little arrowheads. Maybe the napper, one of the nappers, just has a hobby of making small arrowheads because he likes to. And all the materials for free. It's just debitage. All you need is debitage to make small arrowheads. Yeah. Just waste. So I can't think of anything else right off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's something else. Yeah, someone's going to say, yeah, you didn't mention blowgun darts. Okay, fine. Someone's always going to mention that. I don't need to mention the blowgun dart thing. It drives me nuts, actually. Yeah, okay. But there's so many instances of blowgun darts without stone points. Or without arrowheads. There's blowgun darts all over the place with no arrowheads. No little stone points on them. But yet people insist on talking about it. Yeah. You just cannot live in a world where there's no stone points on the blowgun darts. Can't live in that world. I know how it is. Yeah. It is hard to live in a world with no stone points on blowgun darts. But just because you can't live in that world doesn't mean that it exists. It would just be tragic if it doesn't exist. There's lots of tragic things. Mm-hmm. So why am I using indirect percussion on this? Because it usually works. Usually. Right now this is kind of thick and kind of small, so it's a little bit challenging to hold on to it. I mean, it can be used just like that on an arrow. I don't have to go thin with it, but I'm going to try to go thin. Yeah. Because someone wanted to see it. Can you go thin with actual flake scars instead of napping around the edges? And yeah, you can. It just may take several attempts. For some reason, it's not cooperating, because it usually flakes easier than this. Yeah. So we'll change our strategy a little bit. I broke the tip off, but it doesn't matter because the smaller I go, the better. Right? The more I break off, the better, because it'll get smaller and smaller. Yeah. It's a weird concept. Yeah, you can even get step fractures on this little bitty stuff. Yeah. I'm just wondering how easy it is to get the step fractures out of there with the spatula tool. It's probably not worth it. I can just continue to flake that. Pop goes the weasel. So yeah, I can zone out and do this, right? It might make it easier for me. But I won't. I'll talk about stuff. Am I going to do a width to thickness ratio on this one? Probably not. So it's already less in length than a dime, but I'm going to go smaller because people want to see beyond small. Oh yeah. Beyond small. Smaller than small. Amazingly small. And dare I say, stupidly small. Yeah. I like calling things stupid. It's one of my things. You guys that are new to the channel that tuned in just because I'm making a small arrowhead, you're like, what? What kind of napper is this? It's one of them goofy nappers. Yeah, on the weird side of YouTube. It's a little bitty island on there. It looks like a volcano. A volcanic island. Sorry. See, it's embedding itself into the pad, right? That's why it's not traveling. I know that's the reason. I'm still going to try it anyway. Would a harder pad work better? Probably. Oh, I broke some of it. That means it can even get smaller? Yeah. That's what it means. It's going to get even smaller. Because that's the object. The objective here is to get as small as I can. Within reason. Yeah. Okay. Believe it or not, I'm reaching the sweat stage with this because if it gets much smaller, I'm going to have to get another piece. But it's still not as small as I've gone before, so we're not in uncharted waters here. No, no. We're getting there. But yeah, no, I've made little bitty ones. Let's try a harder pad this time, on the harder side of the pad. The wooden side. See if that helps. Get rid of the turtleback. Yeah, I'm pushing above center line. That doesn't help. But it doesn't matter too much. Because I'm not going to do the width to thickness ratio on this one. Okay, so it's time to shape it into what it's going to be. Or start thinking about what it's going to be. I got to start thinking about what it's going to be. I could cheat and just say it's a triangular. Yeah. One of those arrowheads that's just a simple triangle. Yeah. Cottonwood triangle. There you go. Out west. There's something called cottonwood triangle. And some of them were tiny, tiny. And all they were was triangles. And then I'd be done already. It is working to nap on the wooden pad, on the wooden side of the pad. It's giving me a little bit of a firmer backing so that it doesn't move as much. So I get a little more power behind the flake. Because with the leather, it absorbs a lot of shock, which is good for the bigger points, but it just absorbs way too much shock. Why is it good for the bigger points? Well, it just probably prevents it from sliding around when it embeds itself a little bit into the leather when it's a bigger piece. But on the smaller piece, it's hard to get the turtlebacks out when it's embedding itself into the leather. One other thing that could be an excuse to make a small point is just to get practice working on such a small area, like the tip of arrowheads. I might actually be benefiting from this small arrowhead exercise because it could translate to a more effective tip sharpening technique. Yeah. And help me develop tools for working on tips. Yeah, just thought of that just now. Yeah, it just popped into my noggin. But I don't know. I should just make another tool set for the tips of arrowheads because I do have trouble with the tips. Mainly because I'm using the tool that's I use on all the other parts of the arrowhead. When it comes to the tip, the tools end up being a little bit too bulky. Yep. Are you guys able to see what I'm doing? I got my high power glasses on, but I don't know if the focus is good in the video at the whole time, because sometimes when I start napping, when I look away from the viewfinder, it gets blurry as soon as I look away, but I look back at it and it gets in focus. I look away and it's blurry. Or when I start moving the arrowhead, it doesn't know where to focus and it starts getting all out of focus. Yeah. So we're almost there. I think I'm going to put notches in that. Sure, why not? I probably should have been all serious making this, because people are going to be tuning in and they're going to want some high grade, very compelling narrative. They don't know me too well. And they're going to be wondering where they are. Where am I? Because when I put the word miniatures in the title, there's going to be people who are into making miniatures. Maybe they will click on the video. So maybe they want to make a little miniature Native American warrior or a little miniature Paleolithic person or Mesolithic person or whatever as a miniature. I want some authentic stone tools in miniature. Yeah. I don't know, it's pretty thick in the middle. Is this video going to be okay? Because if it's not in focus, it's not really worth it. Come on. It tried to do it. It tried to get thin. Didn't succeed. The flake didn't go long, it went wide. Yeah, so maybe I can learn from that. Is this now too small for an arrowhead? No. If all you need is a stone point, that'll still work. Let's see. I know I have a foreshaft in here that's got a point on it that I can maybe show you that it still works even at this size. Where is it? Is that it? Oh, no, that's not it. But all I gotta do is grind this down a little bit. See, it still will work. I just gotta grind this down and make the notch. You know, take an arrow foreshaft and do a new notch and grind it down, and it still suffices as a point on an arrow if all you need is the stone point. Now, how big is it compared to the dime? Have you found an arrowhead that size? Yes or no? Okay, let's see if I can put notches in it. Maybe that'll take out that turtleback. Nothing else has seemed to work. Let's see. It tried to do it. Now, if it was me, what would I use it for? Or would I make something this small? Now, if it was me, I don't think I'd make something this small. But you never know. If I couldn't find any stone anywhere except for little bits and pieces, then yeah. If it's the only thing that works well on my arrows, then yeah, I would get desperate and just make these little teeny things that I could put on the tip of arrows. But normally, no, I wouldn't. I would just make a bone arrowhead in that case. Couple of side notches. Are we there yet? No. I still want to see if I can put some flakes across the surface to get it thinner, or put more of a concavity on that base and see if I can run that ridge. Run this ridge here. Come on. Yeah, I should grind it. Can you see? No? Can't see. It's not working. Neither is the focus. And you probably can't see anything now at this stage. Can you? Next time I should probably do the whole thing on a wooden pad. The wood seems to agree with it. Yeah, I'm not losing as much energy on these flake removals. And then maybe a sharper indirect percussion tool next time. Am I going to make another one of these? Well, I probably should, since this one's so thick. At this stage is almost like just trimming around the edges. The flakes aren't going across very well. That one was okay. I broke the tip off. The very tippity tip. Can you see? If I put it that close to the camera, I can barely get my vision around the camera to see what I'm doing. This is almost right up on the camera itself. On my camera phone camera. I mean, there's barely any distance in between. It's just as much of a challenge to get this on video as it is to actually nap it. I could try running the flake across. I almost had to nap it through the viewfinder to get it to stay in focus. All right, did that go across? Yeah, it's not going across. I got to figure out a way to stabilize it. If I start with something thick. Yeah. It's not able to be stabilized. I'm not able to stabilize it enough to push a flake across the surface. Anyways. So there you go. Let's see. There's a dime. Are there arrowheads that big? Probably not. This is probably smaller than the arrowheads that you find, the smallest ones. But you never know. There might be. And can it work on a foreshaft? Well, let's find out if I can find a suitable piece of wood. Okay. I don't want to have to start from scratch. I might have to. Are we blurry enough yet in this video? We're very blurry. Yeah. Anyway, I don't have a... I'll have to carve one from scratch, but you can put a little arrowhead like this in a medicine bag as a charm. Why you would want to put something like this on a blowgun dart, I don't know. When you can just put a piece of bone, much easier to deal with. Or just make the blowgun dart out of bone itself. You know, the blowgun dart itself out of a sliver of bone. Instead of trying to make these and then lash them on to a foreshaft. Well, we'll see. I'm going to try it. This is only 39 minutes. I've done videos longer than this, so hold on. Okay. Come on. I'm looking through the viewfinder and looking back at my hand. I gotta make sure I don't jump out of the notch and just. I don't want to catch my finger. Yes, yes. Where's my sandpaper? It'd be easier to do this with sandpaper. All right, so what do I talk about while I'm doing this? Because we're not there yet. Oh no. I don't know. Have I made arrowheads like this, similar to this, and shot them and used them and tested them and hunted with them? No. I just know it can be done. Why you would do it? Just there's various reasons. Just, you know, you can probably think of things that I didn't think of. I don't have my sandpaper. I cleaned out my shop. I know I don't have it. I said everything unnecessary is going back into the storage unit because I'm tired of having a bunch of stuff in the way. And now look, someone wanted a miniature arrowhead. And I could have done this all with stone tools. How would I do the sawing with a stone tool? With a flake. What else? It just takes longer. And, you know, this is better than a stone, but I would do the same thing with a piece of stone to get this foreshaft pointed enough to mount that little arrowhead. Where is a flake? Need to open up that notch. Where's a good spot? That's too thin. Let's see. Should be a spot on here somewhere. Yeah. Almost. Almost there. We're not there yet, but almost there yet. And I'm having to carve into the sides here. Like this. Instead of just rubbing it like this inside the notch, I'm having to carve the notch out. It's faster. But I don't want it to be too wide. I want it to be nice and snug. It doesn't go in that way. about this way? See, I gotta expand one side better than the other, or more than the other. So the little arrowhead will be straight. And yeah, it matters. Did it do it? Is it straight? Little bit of glue. That's all you do. Does it look funny? Yeah, it looks funny, but it will work. If all you need is a piece of stone on there. Yeah. If that's all you need. Because wood really doesn't, it's not that good at being pointy and staying pointy. But if you put a little piece of stone on the top, it'll work. I would just glue it in place and maybe wrap a little bit, but it's probably not necessary to wrap that. But it's got notches. You're going to say it's got notches. Okay, it's got notches. And I can taper this as much as I want. Right. What, do I have thread? Do I still have thread in here? I got twine. Let's see. Where is the thread? Yeah, it still needs a little bit of opening. Why am I taking so much time with it? Well, I'm actually enjoying this. Yeah, it's different than what I normally do, which is always good. Yeah, would I put that on the tip of an arrow? Would I have arrows with that on the tip? Well, it depends on what I'm hunting. If I needed it, yeah. Now, I don't know what I'd be hunting to need that. I know someone's going to raise their hand. You can use it for a tattoo needle. Yeah, little tattoo needle. Maybe that's what they used it for. Yeah. That's one thing I didn't discuss, right? It could be used for little tattoo implements. Yeah, that little sharp tip, that'll work. I mean, it'll be painful. I gotta sharpen it a little bit better, but it might do the trick. Yeah. I didn't even think of that. Okay, so there you go. That's what it would look like at the tip of an arrow, if it would just stay in focus. But it could be an implement to do tattooing. I didn't even think of that, and that might be it. Now, would you put that on the tip of a blowgun dart? Like I said, I would rather just make the whole blowgun dart out of bone or something. Okay, or just a bone tip on the blowgun dart, and compare it to a diamond. There you go. I think I'm going to take a picture like that. Hold on. Oh, I can't do it like that because I didn't set the timer ahead of time. But yeah, I'm going to take that picture. Let's straighten this out. Take that picture. And that picture. Looking through the viewfinder doesn't work all that well. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like photography for this very reason. Yeah, there it is. Okay, there you go. That's it.